Hello, my darlings. I hope you are well. I am so grateful to everyone who has stuck around. I was gone for quite a long time, and you've probably noticed that I'm in a different space, so I might do a little update about that at some point. But for now, just to say I hope it's still satisfactory and relaxing to look at. And hello, I am Rachael. To anyone who's new, thank you for hanging out with me. Tonight I was really hoping to go through some Magic the Gathering cards. I know those of you are super keen to see some more cards and spend an evening, a little bit of an evening, looking through some with me, because I know people enjoy checking out new Magic the Gathering cards, so I thought it would be a nice place to start and check in with everyone and do something fun. So yeah, shall we take a little look? Well, going back to a week or so ago in work, and I went for a little wander at lunchtime and found a little comic book store. When I went in, I saw they were selling the Commander decks, and I know people had previously spoken about Commander with me, and I actually mentioned in my comments that I was thinking of picking up a Commander deck too. So yeah, I was really lucky to meet a very helpful assistant, and he helped me with this. So let me show you what I ended up with. So I ended up with the Final Fantasy VI Commander deck. I confess, I actually never played Final Fantasy VI. Growing up, I jumped straight to Final Fantasy VII, so I don't actually know too much about the lore or the background of the cards, but I was just attracted to the look of them and the colours, and after talking to the incredibly helpful sales assistant, I thought that this would probably be a really nice deck for me to start with. He said it wasn't super complex and I should be able to pick it up quite quickly, because along with moving homes and all sorts of other things, I haven't been able to play much Magic. I definitely had a bit of an addiction to Path of Exile for a while, so that took up an incredible amount of time. So yeah, this is the one I ended up with. So it is called the Revival Trance. It says, fill your graveyard, revive your fallen heroes. And we have a mountain, plain, and a swamp for the mana. If any of you have played with this deck and you want to give me some tips, please do. I have only played with this deck a couple of times so far, and it was really fun. My friend beat me twice. I did win one round, so it's not the best going so far. Let's take a look at one of the commanders. There's two in the deck, and I've only played with one as commander so far. As you can see, I'd already sleeved them. These really nice sleeves, actually. They feel really good. Obviously, I'll have to take them out so you can see the card. How beautiful is that? That's one thing that attracted me to the deck, is the colours. I love the purple and pinks and how pretty it is. So yeah, this is a beautiful card. You probably can't see the writing. This is Terra, Herald of Hope, legendary creature, human, wizard, warrior. Trance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, mill 2 cards. Terra gains flying until end of turn. So I know most of you, or quite a few of you, are Magic players, so I will be explaining things a little bit here and there. You probably know better, you probably know how to explain it better, but it's a nice thing to do for people that haven't played Magic and they're wondering what all this stuff means. I'll try not to butcher it, but I can't make any promises, I'm sorry. So I will try my best. Milling essentially means you're taking 2 of your cards that you could play, but instead you're putting them into your graveyard. So yeah, pick up 2 cards, put them in your graveyard, and then you get flying, which is super helpful. Flying means basically you can't be blocked unless the other person also has a flying creature. Yeah. Whenever Terra deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 of any mana. When you do, return target creature card with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I try to get her into the battlefield pretty quickly so I can use her power to get things out of my graveyard, because a lot of my spells are putting things into the graveyard. So she goes into my command zone. And then the next potential commander is Celes, Rune Knight. And let me just get her out of here. Again, you can see why I found this deck so beautiful. This deck is a mixture of swamps and plains and mountains. So yeah, she has got a beautiful long hair, epic outfit, and a massive sword, which is amazing. You can see the little chocobo again, which is super cute. So let me read this one out to you. Celes, Rune Knight, legendary creature, human, wizard, warrior, knight. When Celes enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards plus 1. Okay, that's quite powerful for getting more cards in your deck well, for multiple reasons, I guess. If you've got some crap cards and you're trying to get rid of them, or even if you've got good cards that you can get back from the graveyard easier than, say, saving up the mana for those cards. Because as you can see, with our other commander, you can get things out of the graveyard if they have the correct power and toughness. That's maybe not what it said, actually. Let me have another look. Whenever one or more other creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So that's really good. So not only can you discard cards, but then you can gain cards, which is great. But then you also get counters for every card that ends up back in the battlefield from your graveyard, which is amazing. As we can see, we'll be doing that a lot. I am, yeah, I'm absolutely in love with these sleeves, by the way. I thought the colour was perfect. And I loved the shimmer. Very happy. The sales guy knew what he's doing when he saw me walk in. He was like, ah, I've got that one. I'll show you the box. Look at this. This beautiful dragon on the front. Yeah. They have been really good quality. My friend had some different sleeves. I think he'd got them on Amazon and they weren't quite as nice as mine, I'm going to be honest. So don't just buy any old sleeves, people. Now you've seen the commanders, I thought it'd be really nice to show you some of my favourite cards. I won't show you all 100, of course. But I'll show you a couple of the lands because they have some really cool artwork, and I will show you a few of the other cards. So let me just flick through and find something. Okay, this one is quite a pretty land. Let me take this out. Ooh. I love the different coloured sky, and these kind of look like night plants, like something that would light up with the moon. I mean, I wish I could garden. I would choose for my garden to look like that. Although, I don't know what kind of planet I'd have to be on to have that kind of sky. Certainly not R1. So, that was pretty. Let me find you another couple. Oh yes, so this one. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up. But there is a dragon at the back here, which looks absolutely epic. And this one is Dragon Skull Summit. This land enters tapped. This land enters tapped unless you control a swamp or a mountain. So this looks like it's both mountain and swamp. You can see the two different colours there, which is really nice. So I like that one. Let me find another. Oh, that one's gorgeous. Okay. I'm not sure everyone knows this, but I have an absolutely huge soft spot for dogs. I actually have two little dogs myself. They are the loves of my life. In saying that, this isn't a dog, it's a lion. I thought it was a dog for a moment. However, lions are very cute too, and they're furry with 4 legs, so that makes me happy. Path of Ancestry. You can see the moon and the clouds, and the non-dog looking over the mountains. It's such a beautiful land card. I love that. I still consider myself a very new Magic the Gathering player, and every time I get a deck, I'm just absolutely blown away. It's so stunning. Okay. Oh, this one. I like this one. Okay, sorry. I won't do any lands, but one last land. It literally looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. Look at that. You're just waiting for a Balrog to show up. You know that Tolkien book. I never said that wrong in my life. I've never called it Tolkien. That is a beautiful. Okay. Let me try and find something a little more interesting than just lands and Dragonland. Very cool. I'll stop there, I promise. So I will show you a couple of the actual cards. If we come across the one that I won the game with, one of the games with, the other two I lost, that would be cool. So let me see if I can find that one. Oh, that might be it. Oh, yes. I have found the card that I won with. Let me take this out for you to have a look at. So this card has a whole bunch of people in the image. It is not focusing. Oh, there we go. So you can see that. Rise of the Dark Realms. You can see that the cost is absolutely huge. So I had a lot of mana on the table when I did that. I felt very smug. I had stolen the person I was fighting's sorcery. So I took one of his sorceries to use for myself, and the sorcery was a wiper. So he was like, if you use that sorcery, you're going to wipe out your cards and my cards, and we would only be left with one card each. And then I realised I had this bad boy in my hand. So this is Rise of the Dark Realms sorcery. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. So yeah, that was absolutely epic way to win the one and only time I've won with this deck so far. So yeah, that is a very, very fun little card. Well, I wouldn't really call it a little card. I still find the whole thing super fascinating and incredibly fun. I am hoping to play this over the weekend again. Oh, this one was on top. Another very nasty card. Nasty in like a great way. Oh. So there's a few creepy, like, clown kind of cards in this deck. I must admit I was not massively happy when I saw those weird clown things. I remember thinking the guy in the shop had really done me over. I thought, what? I said that I'm really into fantasy, and now I've got these creepy clowns in my deck. Like, why is this happening to me? I like elves and dragons, not creepy clowns. But I can't actually be upset once I looked at the abilities of the creepy clowns. So, creepy clown number 1. You can see it there. You can see it's got a fairly big mana cost. Mountain, plains and swamps, of course. Ruinous Ultimatum. It is as bad as it sounds. It really is ruinous. So this is a sorcery, and destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. Which is good, because at least it doesn't destroy mine like the other one. Look at him, he is so strange. Or she, sorry. Or, I don't really know. Creepy clown. I don't know if clowns are he's or she's, or... Anyway. That's a creepy little clown. I actually haven't got around to using this yet. I don't think I've pulled it in any of the games I've played. So that will be a very fun one when I do. Okay, let's see. Oh, of course, I'll have to show you the little Mog, the little Moogle warrior. Let me take that out for you. How absolutely adorable is this little thing? I absolutely adore it. So this is another legendary creature. Legendary creature Moogle warrior. Dance. At the beginning of your end step, each player may discard a card. Each player who discarded a card in this way draws a card. If a creature card was discarded this way, you create a 1/2 white Moogle creature token with lifelink. Then if a non-creature card was discarded this way, you put 1/1 counter on each Moogle you control. So, in theory, you can make lots of little Moogles with lifelink, and I haven't managed to do that yet. I've had a couple, but I'd love to have a whole army of these little babies running around. I think that would be very, very sweet. Let me think of... Let me try and find you another one that I really enjoyed. To be honest, there is so much in this deck that's like very, very fun. So you honestly can't go wrong with it. Like, just a quick one here. Like, look at this demon. The colours are insane. So it's like a flying demon with its claws out and dark multicolored clouds behind him, which is spooky. So at the beginning of each opponent's end step, the player chooses up to 2 creatures they control and sacrifices the rest. So that is brutal. Let me use one. Oh, they do have a dog card. Adorable. I'm very happy with that. Okay. I'm not finishing on a super impressive card, but I kind of wanted to show you a card that I used so much when I was playing. So I think my understanding of the deck is the power you have is in, you know, milling your cards, getting cards out of the graveyards, adding ++ to your power and toughness from doing that, setting up creatures that you can sacrifice that then come back constantly in a loop, so they're really hard to get rid of. And I obviously have only played a couple of times, so I'm definitely not an expert in need of a lot of tips. But one of the funnest things I found about this deck is using other people's spells. So you can literally pillage their graveyard, pick out their favourite spells and use them against them, which was so much fun, and that's exactly what I did with this next guy. There you are. So, although he's not the coolest card in the deck, it's got cute little artwork, and like I said, super colourful, which I have really enjoyed about this deck. Yeah, he might not be the most exciting of cards, but he was just so fun to play with. So, Strago and Realm. Oh, it's 2 people. I didn't even notice that before. I'm sorry, little lady, I didn't see you. I think I was just distracted by how fun it was to play. So, a legendary creature, a human wizard. Sketch and lore. Target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant, sorcery, or creature card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this creature. Activate only as a sorcery. So that was super fun, playing this guy and absolutely wrecking other players with their own spells. It's quite naughty. Quite a naughty card. But yeah, very fun. I must admit, I've not played Commander before, so I don't have a strong reference point, but playing with this deck has been incredibly fun. And I'm super grateful for the guy in the comic book shop who showed me around and helped me pick out this deck, because I was humming and ahhing between, I think there was like 4 decks I was thinking of getting, 4 different ones, and he said I should try this one first. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. So I could go through more, but you probably want to rest, and so do I. It's nearly midnight. It's 1 minute to midnight, so I most definitely need to get myself to bed. But thank you so much for being here, and please leave me some magic tips. I need all the help I can get, and I hope to see you soon. Have a lovely evening and good night.